Hi there.
Hi, thanks for having me on tonight.
It's our pleasure. So, what's going on? What do you want to talk about?
Well, I've been following you on Instagram for a while. I really enjoy all of the reels and things that you make. So when I saw you put a call out for inquiries into speaking on the show tonight, I was like, I'm going to go for it. So
Great.
I sent a message out, and the gist of me, I'm a 40-year-old mother of two beautiful children, married for 14 years with a loving husband. I've struggled with depression in my adult life, and I've gotten myself to a point where I'm pretty confident in my ability to balance myself. But, from time to time, find myself falling down. Something that I'm trying to work on right now is cultivating more of a sense of what do I want as a person? what is my life? What is my purpose, and what do I enjoy? And being someone who's been somewhat of a people pleaser for a greater part of my life, I'm kind of struggling to answer that, just a simple question of what do you want? What do you like? So I was hoping you might have a little advice for fellow HSP who is just kind of trying to navigate the path of self-discovery, and kind of rediscovering my own spirituality and how God would play into that too.
Yeah. So it's great that you're trying to figure yourself out and understand what you're here for and what is special about this embodiment that you've been placed in. In other words, what are the opportunities and the responsibilities and the duties that are unique to you? That's what it's all about. One of the things, though, that I have to point out, because you're blessed to be a mother of, you said you have two children?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So here's the thing. The way that you phrased it is your life's been about others. Well, you didn't say those exact words, but you sort of said you're a people pleaser and you don't really know what you're all about. You're really kind of, your experience has always been, how do you take care of what other people want? So what I want to say before we get into what you're all about is that when you're a mother or a father, you actually are meant to completely set yourself aside and put your child's needs not only first, but you're supposed to make your child's needs your only concern. So in that relationship, the mother-child relationship, it actually is proper that it be completely self-effacing. It's an act of complete surrender where it's like, it's not about me. And obviously our kids grow up, and in time they become less dependent on us if all goes well. But there are many years, especially, I don't want to say something that's going to sound sexist or patriarchal, but I think it's a fact. I think everybody knows that mothers are more instrumental in the education of children than fathers. I'm not denigrating or minimizing the role of fathers. Fathers are incredibly important, but I'm saying as far as one-on-one exposure, putting in the actual time, being present with the child, I hope it's okay in today's day and age to say that it's just a fact that when a woman becomes a mother, there is to a great extent a large chunk of time, perhaps even decades, where in many ways her life's not about herself anymore. So, when you're a mother, it really is selflessness. It really is about taking care of these kids. Now, having said that, there is something to be said for Melissa knowing who she is as well, not just as a mother. Mother is an incredibly important, maybe even the most important role that you were given, but you have other roles as well. You're a wife, and then there are other roles that you have as well. and it's important for you to understand what those roles are. But I just want to make sure that in the process of this self-discovery, that we don't end up in any way losing the plot as far as the selflessness that's required in motherhood.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, I definitely feel like that is the primary charge that has taken, hold of my life since they came into it 14, and 9 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
And I love being a mother. It's just something I really enjoy, and so I completely agree with you in that regard.
Okay, fantastic. And both things can be true. It can be in as a mother, in that part of your life, it's just what you can do for them, and then there are other parts of your life that are what you can do for yourself. But even when we do things for ourselves, we have to define that, because it's not the way that the world normally thinks of doing things for myself. The way the broader world out there talks about, like, me time, I got to take care of me, I got to put myself first, they often mean it in a completely, what I would call, closed loop, closed system that ends up being a zero-sum game. What I mean by that is they take care of themselves so they can have more energy to take care of themselves, which is just as absurd as the common lament, I go to work so I can earn money so that I can live, so I can go to work, so I can earn money so I can live.
Yeah.
Right? When you become engaged in self-care for its own sake, it also becomes a snake eating its tail. So there has to always be something bigger than me that I'm tethered to. So that when I'm engaged in self-care and doing the things that nurture my soul and energize me, there's always, at least in the background, this notion of what will I then do with this energy? Where will I direct it? Toward what project, which is ultimately greater than myself? So I think that's the way to phrase it. It's like, what is there in your life that you can be passionate about, that feeds you, that nurtures you, that makes you feel like your special gifts are being tapped into? But it's not just about self-indulgence, God forbid. It's, to the contrary, it's about you becoming more productive, more giving, more involved in other people's lives, and ultimately in the betterment of humanity. So does any of that resonate with you as far as, like, you have...
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you have any specific thoughts?
It's definitely a feeling of, like, not having a direction outside of, the obvious wife and mother roles. Is like, I am a worker. I'm in the workforce and part of a family business, and not feeling completely engaged in that, and trying to think, well, how do I find purpose in that? Or is there another purpose that I need to find?
Sometimes elsewhere? A job is just a job.
Yeah.
Is that the case here? I mean, sometimes a job it's very stimulating. There are challenges and problem solving, and it can be a source of personal growth. But sometimes a job is just a job. It's just a way of paying the bills.
Sure, and it has been and is both for me. I think more and more I'm a little more, like, disenchanted with kind of the political climate surrounding it, that is kind of like a roadblock to progress in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. So
your industry, and you don't have to share what the nature of the business is, but you're saying it's been politicized, and basically there are a lot of hoops you got to jump through that have nothing to do with the real product.
Yeah, sure. And I was part of the advocacy efforts for a lot of that, and it felt like banging my head against the wall doing a second job that wasn't necessarily related to the primary, responsibilities that I had inside our office, so to speak.
I'm wondering, so I'm so curious, like, I'm wondering how much you would be willing to reveal to us what you're involved in and what the
Oh,
challenges were.
Yeah, it's healthcare. It's the home healthcare industry specifically.
Yeah.
And I'm like an operations director, and we work with, the departments of Medicare and Medicaid services. So I've been engaged more on a state level with our state Medicaid department and aging departments specifically, because we provide so much care to seniors. So I've just been, very active in our state trade association doing advocacy work to basically get rid of barriers to care for like elderly and disabled citizens. And it's just kind of it's a rough environment
you got burnt
to
out.
be in. And
yeah,
absolutely. A couple times.
Because it's very political, and there's big money, and the people who are making decisions don't really think about the human side of things. They're not really thinking about somebody's grandmother. No. Yeah, that's exhausting and disillusioning and frustrating and heartbreaking. I'm wondering, let me just test the waters here. As much as you did not enjoy that aspect of your job, like you called it a second job in order to be able to do your real job, I'm just wondering, and the answer may be no, but I wouldn't know the first thing about advocacy for healthcare. You know eminently more about the subject than I do. So if I wanted to make a difference in that area, I would not even know where to begin. But you would. So I'm just wondering, as somebody who has unique experience and unique insight, is there any activism that you could be doing that would not feel like banging your head against the wall?
In the healthcare space, do you mean?
Yeah. That's where you have unique experience. I know it's a sleazy environment and you've seen a lot of bad stuff, but, you were already sent there.
Yeah.
And you already were exposed to it. And you already know. You know the ropes, at least more than 99.9% of us.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's interesting you should ask that, because I recently, in backing out of a few of the advocacy groups, reached out to a reporter to share my experience and see if there was, because within the conversations that we were having as an organization, people were like, we need to litigate, or we need to reach out to news sources, and no one was actually doing it. And when I kind of threw my hands in the air, I reached out to somebody in our state, and we're kind of like going back and forth, setting up a time to talk and that sort of thing. But
with a reporter,
I think that may be what you're referring to.
It's exactly what I'm referring to.
It's just trying to amplify it in a different way.
So we started off, you were talking about where can you find fulfillment? Where's your calling? And there may be a lot of things that you are uniquely fit to do, but here's one of them that I know is rare. Most people wouldn't know the first thing where to even get started, even if they cared about the subject. It sounds like you already know the situation, you know the people, you know the players, you know the names, you're in touch with them, you have opportunities. I know it's so exhausting because you're dealing with this machine, and at the end of the day, it's like real people's lives and quality of life, and it's heartbreaking to be up against that type of bureaucracy. But that's, for now at least, that's how things get done. Everything is political. Everything is networking. Everything is who you know. That's just the way that this world works for now. And if you have insight, I think you got to use that. I think God put you in those situations and gave you that education. And now you got to use it. And I know it's exhausting. And I know that you sort of like stepped away from it because of how emotionally draining it is. But maybe if you could think about the fact that,
Yeah.
right, but maybe if you could think about the fact that as emotionally draining as it is, you are certainly way more poised to actually make a difference than any of the rest of us. Like I said, if I wanted to get started, I wouldn't even know what to do. I don't know who to talk to. I don't know the terms. I don't know what words to use. You do.
Yeah, and I guess one of the reservations I've had too is that coupled with the frustration and the heartbreaking aspect for the compassion for patients is there's a frustration with the way that things do work and who does get help in certain situations that I feel really uncomfortable talking about with some people because, you know, it has to do with like immigrant communities and taking advantage of the benefits that are afforded to them when they come in the country. So, you know, but there's a lot of excessive resources that are pooled and taken advantage of in a way that, you know, has kind of held me back from that. So I guess I've just been not sure where to go with it, but I appreciate your insight.
I think, you know, it's not your main job. It's not, I mean, it certainly doesn't directly pay the bills, but it's activism and it's something that you're uniquely poised to do. And to the extent that you can do it without getting too burnt out, I think it's an important thing for you to do. Obviously, number one priority is to your family and then to your actual job. But then with that is this unique form of activism. You still with me?
Okay.
Yeah? Okay.
I am. Yeah. Just kind of taking it in.
Yeah. How disappointing is it to think that this may be where your talents are going to be most featured and well used?
It's intimidating, I guess.
Why?
But it's not like something surprising because I've just been trying to figure out where to put that energy, like where to direct it. I guess I've just been hoping I'd find something else that I equally can be passionate about. And
you can try pottery.
And put all that energy
you
into.
Can throw
but
pots.
This took a lot of time to get here.
Potter's wheel, you know, with clay, and you can paint it, get a kiln. But
yeah,
a lot of people can do pottery. Really, seriously, you were given a unique education. I don't know how many other people there are in the world, let alone in your state, who know the inner workings of this world and are able to maybe make a difference. And so I would definitely pursue that advocacy avenue for yourself and call those reporters. And yeah, and if it comes to litigation, yeah, so you do that too, whatever it takes. A lot of times it's just really, it's about, I got to tell you, most things in this world, it's not what you know, it's who you know, it's networking. So you hang out with the people who make the decisions, you end up having an influence on them. So if you already know who the players are, you have a leg up on the rest of us because we don't even know who to talk to. And the people who make the real decisions are not the people that you elected into office. It's not the people who whose face is on the postcard that comes to your mailbox a week before Election Day. The people really making the decisions, you know who's making the decisions, are people working in some office who decide on policy, and they have very specific reasons why they think that those decisions are the best. I mean, basically, okay, so everyone just should understand how it works. Politics is basically people with good hair and who know how to smile and speak in sound bites. So they run for office. Then they have a bunch of people working for them who are the nerds who actually understand and care about political science and government and actually could like tell you the different articles of the Constitution. And those are the people in the office. They make decisions. They make decisions based on, I hate to say it, but what will keep them employed? What will keep them employed is something called re-election. So the guy with the good hair has to get re-elected. So they make decisions based on what they think their constituents want. That's how democracy works. It's the ultimate form of pandering. So at any rate, it's worse than reality TV. You know, it's like the sleaziest form of entertainment where you're just playing to the lowest common denominator, that's what democracy eventually devolves into, because you're just giving people what they want. At any rate, you know all of this. Go to lunch with the right people and send them fruit baskets and whatever else you got to do. And you know the game. Play the game. And make,
right. Yeah, no. And what you're saying is that the act of self-preservation is so central to everything that is the government department. It just becomes, how do I stay here? How do we keep this going? Even if it's not working, how do we keep this going?
Yep. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And by the way, I just want to pause there for a second. Remember I said before that the way that many people engage in self-care is a closed system, which basically you take care of yourself so you have energy to take care of yourself more, and it lacks meaning. Mm-hmm. That's what government is. Mm-hmm. It's a system that perpetuates itself for the sake of perpetuating itself, which is ultimately meaningless and pointless and just breaks everybody's heart who gets near it. But don't be intimidated and don't be dismayed. You're going to make a change, and you're going to help somebody's grandmother and help a lot of people's grandmothers and grandfathers, and eventually all of us who need that kind of care. So it's an incredible opportunity you have.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Thanks for the time tonight.
Okay, thank you. Really, I appreciate your openness and your vulnerability talking about all these things, and I really, really think that you're going to accomplish amazing things. Please let us know how the lawsuit goes.
I'll keep you posted.
But a really good fruit basket could avoid a lawsuit, so you have to weigh the two options. Okay, awesome.
I'll keep that in mind. Maybe some celery soda.
Celery soda, yes, absolutely, yes. You'll set them up with a 12-pack of celery. I don't even think they sell it in 12 packs, actually. But yes, that's right. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to take the next caller. All right. That was awesome. That was Melissa. That was a great call. And I think she's going to accomplish great things. And I'm calling it right now. There's going to be a made-for-TV movie about her life. Come back and tell me I'm wrong. Have other calls coming in. One second. Yeah, hi. Are you calling in right now? Okay, try again on that number that I gave you. Oh, actually, wait. Can you call me back in like 50? No. 1 second. No, on that other number. That 516 number. Wait, could you call me in 15 minutes? Is that okay? Ooh, okay. 1 second. Michael, welcome. Michael's on the show.
Rabbi, how are you?
Baruch Hashem, thank God. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Glad to hear it.
Hi, Melissa, welcome.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hi, thanks for having me on tonight.
It's our pleasure. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rabbi. Great to be here.
Hey there. How are you doing?
Doing well. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Thanks for taking me.
Hello.
Hey there. You're on the air.
We'd like to extend a special thank you to Mendel Simon and 9x9 Tech for powering this call-in show and making it possible for us to connect with our amazing audience. 9x9 Tech offers a one-stop service for all your communication needs, along with personalized tech solutions catered specifically towards your business. Visit 9x9tech.com today. That's 9x9tech.com. Thank you, Mendel and the team, for your incredible support.
Hey, this is Shais Taub. You were just watching a clip from this class. If you want to get the full context, the full class that this clip that you just watched was from, you watch right here. Click right here. Here.